Hi guys, this is Rheuben again. Today I would like to talk to you a little bit about saxophone intonation. One of the phrases I hear a lot is, this saxophone plays out of tune. The other phrase I hear a lot is, this saxophone plays perfectly in tune. Now the internet is a great thing. It gives us a lot of information, but not all of it is completely correct. First of all, there is no saxophone that plays in tune. No saxophone plays in tune. You have to adjust and play the saxophone in tune. So, talk about a personal experience that I had. I was going to the south of France and North Italy on a tour to play with a band once. And I have a great friend, Dan Higgins, who's been my friend for about 30 years, and he came by the shop when I was practicing. And I said, Dan, can you give me some pointers on playing the alto, because I'm heading out with this band. He said, yeah, push it in about an inch and learn to play it in tune. Now he didn't say push it in about an inch and it'll play it in tune. He said push it in about an inch and learn to play it in tune. So I pushed it in, and of course my right hand was completely sharp and the thing was completely out of tune compared to where I was playing it. So I practiced it for a few days and got adjusted to it and everything. And sure enough, when I got to the band, I was just up to pitch. Had I played it where I was playing it, I wouldn't even have been in the right key. So that's a personal experience. So the saxophone must be played in tune. Now there are a few things you can do to alter it, but that comes under custom playing. If you have a note that's extremely sharp, that can be fixed sometimes, but that comes into custom work. For example, in the alto, we usually tune the alto to an F sharp. Well, the F sharp in the middle register is generally 30 cents sharp. So when you tune there, you generally have the low end is going to be flat, the upper register is going to be a little sharp. So the main note to tune to is the B natural. That's the most stable. The one right in the middle of the staff is the most stable note. If you tune to that note, then play the F sharp, and hear the interval, the F sharp will already be dropped down and your pitch will be much better. Every saxophone has inherent problems. Stuffy D, sharp this, sharp that, flat this. Open C sharp on most saxophones, and the middle register is flat on most altos. These are all inherent problems of it being a saxophone. Now the other things that control where the pitch is and how the saxophone sounds are the mouthpiece, reed, ligature, how far it's on the neck, and the player. Now all saxophones have a thing called a sweet spot. That means you push the mouthpiece in. If it's out here, it doesn't work. If you push it in here, somewhere in here is going to be a spot about an inch or so in on the neck where the horn's going to play perfectly, response is going to be perfect, and the intonation is going to be the best it can. So you look for your sweet spot, and that's where you start. Also, from the manufacturing standpoint, there are two things. If we have a drawn tone hole, the tone hole can only come up out of the body so far. And you level it, it comes back down a little bit. So it's only so high you can make that tone hole. So the right hand is going to be sharp on an alto because the tone holes aren't high enough. Now a soldered on tone hole, you can adjust that. So there are many things in production and things like that that can alter the intonation of the saxophone. Summer, for example, used to have 3 model bows on their saxophone. And here, with his 2 rings, were straight across. It was called a short bow. Dan Higgins, Phil Woods, guys like that used to play sounds. They played that short bow. The next one, the bottom line lined up with the top line. That's called a medium bow. And I believe that was the best intonation. It dropped the right hand a little bit, and the low notes were still in tune. Then they had the long bow, where the bottom of this ring was below the bottom of this ring. Now that horn, the intonation on the right hand was much better, except the low C, the low B, all the low notes were flat because the bow was too long. So people have experimented with all kinds of things to try and make the saxophone play in tune, and pretty much it isn't going to happen ever. So the main thing to remember is that you must play it in tune. One of my friends in North Texas, who's a great teacher and things like that, one time spent days tuning the saxophone, putting corks in this hole, moving this, doing all that kind of stuff, and stopped the strobe anywhere. And the first job he went to, the guy said he had a screwdriver popping those corks out because he couldn't play with the rest of the saxophone players because they can't play perfectly in tune. So also, every gig you go to, you might have to push in a little, you might have to pull out a little. There are many, many things that affect where the intonation is on the saxophone every time we pick it up. The reed, for example, every time you change a reed, the notes are in a different place. It's just that simple. So we must learn to play the saxophone in tune, and we must learn to listen to where the pitch is and play it in tune. And so that's pretty much a little bit about the intonation of the saxophone and my concept of the intonation of the saxophone. and the concept of many other players, and like that. And if you have any questions about what can and can't be done, you can always email me at rheubenallen@gmail. That's for my funny spelling, or you can go to my website, rheubenallen.com, and check that, or the Rheuben Allen Education Foundation. They'll all tell you how to get a hold of me. And so that's pretty much it for this one. Thanks so much.